Hi, I'm Miche Fambro, and in response to something I posted on Facebook, it became clear to me that there's a lot of people that aren't aware that I do write a lot of my own songs, in addition to, being someone that loves, a lot of the classics. And so where are those original songs, and why don't I post them, along with other things on YouTube? Well, the truth is actually they are there. But there's a couple of things that that you should know, and that's what I'm indulging you with right now. And that is one of the reasons why I found that I haven't been posting a lot of originals was it really didn't seem that people were that interested in them. I mean, one thing about YouTube and all of the social media is the data is right there for you to see, and it's often humbling. This is to say that you can just look at the numbers of the views on a lot of these things. So with my originals, for example, clearly the numbers weren't as high as almost anything else, particularly the classics. Now, it should be said that overall my numbers are quite humble compared to others on YouTube, but nonetheless the point is still the same, and that is it just didn't seem that people were that interested in that. So I just wasn't posting a lot of my own songs compared to the classics, when I would do a lot of the standards and things like that. It seemed like people were pretty much more engaged with that. So because I liked the material, it was a pleasure for me to do it. And so a couple things about the classics are, I've always been kind of a closet crooner anyway. And finally I got around to learning how to play a lot of this material myself. I initially had always sought to have a pianist, and the area that I live, it's such a pain in the butt trying to get people to accompany you. And it was just time for me to just buckle down and teach myself how to play, a lot of this stuff. So that was a challenge for me. The other thing that should be noted was I found that the material liked me, that the material, it liked my voice. So that was something that made it really fun. But here is the thing that you probably would not expect to hear. And this is probably one of the more important reasons why I found my engaging in these songs was such a thrill. And the classics is also inclusive to practically any cover song that I might do. And that is, many years ago, I had, it was a criticism from, a very renowned artist, Peter Gabriel. Not directly to me, but, it was to me, about me, through somebody else. They basically got the note and they read it to me. Miche, this is what Peter Gabriel said. And the gist of it was that what Miche has to do is he has to focus on his idiosyncrasies, and he has to exaggerate them. It took a long time for me to grasp what that means, what that means. I mean, in addition to, at that particular time, just recognizing that you've been rejected, but eventually, it started to register what this really meant. And so this is to say that when I found that after a while, when you start to develop your own style, or a style, a character play, however you do your things. For me, vocally, I found that I was less of a vocalist, but more of somebody that plays with characters. And with the guitar, it was sort of the same thing when you have just, your stylings. But when your stylings are pretty much just exclusive to your own material, to fresh ears, they can't really appreciate what you're doing, because as far as they're concerned, well, that's that song. So taking whatever that styling is, whatever that idiosyncrasy is, and then applying it to something that's familiar to people, then whatever that idiosyncrasy is sticks out. And I found that by my applying, my stylings to these familiar songs, it was a way for me to, the challenge was, how do you take something that's as old as, that 1,000 millions of people have done, and trying to make it your own. So you basically take these songs, and the challenge that I welcomed was to, again, take these songs and add your style to it. And this was a challenge. This was definitely a challenge, because it wasn't just playing, for me, it wasn't just playing, another standard. It was taking something and trying to find your way in it. And that became the thrill in itself. So I found that I was engaged in a lot of this material for that particular reason. So anyway, I just wanted you to understand the context of, why I was doing, a lot of the things that I've been doing and posting. It was just kind of a fun and challenge for me. And now you've heard it from me, and I will be addressing some of the other questions that I have, because boy, I've got quite a few here. Some folks want to know, about my decision not to perform solo anymore, and or perform live, should I say? But I'll engage that some other time. In the meantime, now you know this story.